MLTman234 here, and welcome to another episode of Forgotten Media, where I dig up some stuff you may or may not have heard of. Today we'll be looking at the history of a forgotten and creepy-looking subject known as Nightmare Ned, a bizarre and strange idea that all started on a PC game that was developed by Creative Capers Entertainment and Disney Interactive Studios and was released in 1997. The story for the game is that Ned has gotten back from school, only to find out that his mother has taken his dad to work and taken his little sister Amy with her. And so he starts to enjoy himself alone in the house, eating sweets and playing video games. So much for calling a babysitter to watch Ned. Anyway, a lightning storm causes a power outage, and so Ned decides to head for bed. But Ned's fears causes him to enter into the dream world, where he must travel through 5 different areas and encounter 5 different shadow monsters to revert them to the people that are from Ned's world. The gameplay has you going through different levels that resemble Ned's fears, such as the graveyard, the attic, the school, the hospital, and the bathroom. Your only weapon is your yo-yo, which you can use to defeat ghouls and activate switches. Each area has a shadow monster residing, and after completing a certain task or defeating an enemy, the shadow creature will slowly reveal who it's resembling in Ned's world. The graphics are nothing special compared to today's standards, but back then in 1997 it was incredible. The art style is very macabre beyond belief, with its zombies, pipe cleaners, skeletons, and a whole bunch of other creepy things that go bump in the night. I'll have to say, for its art style, it's so dark and creepy that it feels like Tim Burton worked on this game. Music in this game is very eerie, but beautiful at the same time. There are also a few songs in the game which are pretty interesting. The game was pretty scary and sometimes tends to be a little bit gruesome, mostly the dentist level where you're inside a mouth and it's so detailed with its style it looks pretty disgusting. There's also a good and a bad ending to this game. You have 8 tries to return back to the main quilt map, and if you use them all up, then Ned will wake up still being afraid of everything. If you don't use up all your quills and beat the game, then Ned will wake up now brave as he conquered his fears. I actually remember seeing this game as part of an advertisement when I finally got my hands on a copy of Disney's Villain's Revenge a while back. Overall, the game is pretty decent, but it's very hard to find nowadays. With the game already made, it actually spawned a TV series, which was a dark comedy and adventure series that was developed by Walt Disney Television Animation, created by Terry Shakespeare, Sue Shakespeare, and David Malina, and premiered on ABC on April 19, 1997. The episodes usually show Ned's daily problems like growing up, the dentist, and so on. Then we see him dive into the dream world to see Ned deal with them. Each episode has 2 shorts in one episode, kind of like how Dave the Barbarian had. For the main cast, there was Ned Needlemeyer, who's the 10-year-old boy who has pretty strange nightmares. His dad tries to help Ned get through his life, while his mother tries to understand his nightmares. And along the way, we get to see a lot of zany and strange creatures throughout the series. Every time Ned goes into the dream world, we see the screen spiral into different colors resembling Ned entering the dream world, as the episodes themselves are pretty crazy. One episode had Ned going through the times of growing up, one episode shows him being turned into a dog, one episode had Ned trying to save his baby teeth from the Tooth Fairy, and a couple of other strange and bizarre episodes. The show was dark, creepy, but very entertaining to watch. Sadly, it didn't last very long, as there are 2 reasons why the show got the axe. One was that the show ran over budget, and 2, parents complained that the show was too scary for kids. And so, with only 12 episodes made, the series was cancelled on August 9, 1997 and was never seen again. Because of its short life, none of the episodes were released onto home video to my knowledge. As for the internet, several episodes and clips of the other episodes can be found on YouTube. Even though it's some guy with a camera recording them off of his TV, this is your best chance at finding any surviving episodes. That is, unless you watched the series and recorded them on VHS back then. I one time found a website called Petition Online, and it pretty much has all these random petitions of like things that should be. And one of them happens to be people saying that they should bring Nightmare Ned onto DVD. And I would say that would be pretty interesting if they could do that, put all 12 episodes into one DVD. I'd sure like to see that happen. In closing, Nightmare Ned was a dark and entertaining show that seems to be a little bit underrated nowadays. I think they should bring it back and feature it on Disney Channel during the night and have it a PG rating and not a Y rating. Besides, there's nothing good on Disney Channel anymore except for Phineas and Ferb. I know how they say that kids are scared from the show and all that, but kids like to be scared sometimes. As Nostalgia Critic once said, if we didn't like being scared, then we wouldn't go out for trick-or-treating on Halloween, or watch any of the High School Musical films. Yeah, I know the last count was a little bit off, but you get the picture. I always wondered if James Rolfe, aka the Angry Video Game Nerd, watched the series or played the game or something like that. He is a nerd when it comes to scary films and such in real life. And I always wondered what happened to Ned after dealing with his nightmares and finally growing up. Maybe he decided to change his name to Freddy and become Freddy Krueger in the future. Yeah, I know that seems a little bit far-fetched, but I think that'd be cool, like, foreshadowing the character. Well, that wraps up this episode of Forgotten Media. So this is Melty Man 234 signing out.